everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is Erica from Confessions of a Homeschooler, and we started a new history program this year. It is called The Story of the World, and I've had quite a few requests to do a video review of this program. So I wanted to start off by saying so far we are really enjoying it. I am doing it with 3 of my kiddos. They are grades 3 through 8 actually, and I think it's a little bit too easy for my 8th grader. There are definitely, this is just book 1 because we hadn't tried this curriculum before, so I kind of wanted to start in the beginning, but there's other levels of books that you can buy that are better for higher grades. But I'm just going to do a review for this one because this is what we're doing. So this is volume 1, Ancient Times, and it goes from the earliest nomads to the last Roman emperor. And so far we're really enjoying this curriculum. When you purchase this curriculum, this is the student reading text, and we actually, I'll show you up close of these in just a second, but we actually do this as a group, and so I will usually read out loud to them and kind of ask them questions as we go. But you might also want to get a hold of the activity book. This goes with this, the reader, and inside the activity book there are comprehension questions for the reading, there are suggestions for crafts and art projects, there are mapping assignments and things like that in there. So you'll definitely want to get this. This is kind of the teacher manual supplement to this. And then in the very back of this, and you can purchase these pre-printed, but in the very back of this there are, there we go, there are student pages. They're mostly mapping pages. There are some cool flashcards in the back, which I'll show you up close here in just a second. And you can either choose to make copies out of this book for however many kiddos you need, or you can purchase them pre-printed. I actually just grabbed mine pre-printed because they're all black and white. It's not super complicated, but I didn't want to have to do all the printing myself. I wanted to just be able to kind of pull out the worksheets. Now, I will say that since this is kind of for a younger audience than some of my kiddos, I probably would not have done the student activity pack at this point. The maps are kind of cool and it's nice for them to see where things are happening at, but it's mostly filled with coloring pages, and so my 3rd grader is kind of like, sometimes she likes to do them, sometimes it's just kind of extra busy work for her and she prefers not to have to just sit and kind of color a worksheet. But that's just our personal opinion. If you have younger kids and you're doing this with them, then I would definitely suggest getting that, or at least making photocopies out of the back here for your kiddos, because I think that that would be valuable, just like a fun activity for them. Each lesson also has quite a few hands-on kind of activities like building projects, art projects. I think there's some recipes in there and everything. My only comment on that, other than the projects, the like tangible projects that you have to do, this is really pretty easy to do kind of as an open and go curriculum. I didn't really look ahead too much in here. We just do the reading and then we come through and we do all the comprehension questions, and then if there's a map skill, I have my kids do that. We are only doing a few of the activities out here because I'm also incorporating one of the Homeschooling in the Woods lap booking units with it, and so we honestly haven't done a whole lot of the like kind of crafts and things like that. If you want to do that, my suggestion for you would be to for sure look through this manual before you start your school year and make yourself a list of all of the supplies and all of that kind of thing that you would need, because if you were to just open this up, there's literally an activity, I think, for pretty much every lesson that you go through, which is a lot. And so if you were to just open this up and try and do it, you probably would not have the proper supplies. So you'll want to go through this, you know, chapter by chapter and just look and see what activities there are, pick which ones you want, make a list of whatever supplies you need. I don't know, the company can correct me if I'm wrong, but I did not see any kind of like overall supply list or anything like that for this. So you really do need to kind of go ahead and prepare all of that in advance, and that way you won't be, you know, kind of getting to a project without having the necessary supplies at hand. Otherwise, I feel like this is a pretty open and go project. Or curriculum, we usually open this up, read our chapter. Sometimes if it's a longer chapter, I'll break it in half. They do have the lessons kind of lined out in here for you. I sometimes follow them, sometimes I go based on how much time we have that day. So we might break a lesson in half or something like that. But we'll just go ahead and read out of here, and then like I said, we'll do some of the mapping. I'll ask them the questions, and then we kind of move on. And then if there is an activity that fits from our Homeschool in the Woods units, which I also have a review posting on that as well if you want to see that. If it's up by the time this video goes up, I'll link it below. If not, you can just search my channel for it. But if there's an activity that fits that, we'll kind of do that instead, because I sort of like the lap booking aspect of that. So, but that's kind of how we're using that this year. And let's take a closer look on the inside of this so you can kind of see what's actually inside these books and what it looks like. So here are some of the materials that come with the Story of the World. So this is the textbook, and we just read out of this every day. There's a few pictures and things like that in here and some maps, but it's basically kind of written more in story format, so the history text reading isn't dry at all. It's really pretty fun, and my kids really enjoy listening to all the stories. And then you'll probably want to get a hold of the Ancient Times activity book as well, or whichever version you're using. But this one is basically the teacher's manual, so you'll kind of go, let me find a lesson here. All right, so let's say you were on chapter 11. Basically tells you what to read, review questions, any exercises, or anything like that that they need to do. Craft projects are in here. And also the student activity book, which I'll show you in just a second, is in here as well. So the answer key to all that is in this. So if you're planning on, you know, not just reading through this and you want to do the activities, you definitely need to get this. But if I had to do it again, I'd probably just skip this and just do the review questions and activities out of this book. So one other thing I wanted to mention is you can usually purchase the activity book, and then you can purchase these pre-printed, the activity pack, or if you'd like to make your own copies and kind of pick and choose what you want to do, the student pages are also included in the back of this book. So you can make copies of them, and as you can kind of see here, there's, you know, like I said, again, maps and a lot of coloring pages and that kind of thing. And then in the very back here, there are these review cards, and so you could kind of print these out on cardstock, have your kids color them, and then use these as flashcards, just to kind of help, you know, study from and remember all of the things that they've learned throughout the year. So these are kind of cool. We're definitely going to be using these, and I don't know if we'll just put them in like maybe on a little ring or something like that, or maybe we'll put them up on the wall. We'll see, but those are kind of a fun addition. And then in here for the activities, my only thing with this is it's not exactly open and go if you want to do the activities. I couldn't find a list of like craft supplies or anything like that that you'd have to get. And there are projects for every single activity. And so you would need to read ahead before the year started and probably make a list of things that you needed to buy and when you needed to get them by. Otherwise, you would, you know, open up your lesson for the day and get to this project and potentially not have the items or supplies that you would need to complete the project. So otherwise, it's pretty open and go. If you were going to skip some of the projects, you know, you could really just open this up, read it, do the pages out of the student activity pack, and be done with it. But if you want to do any of the, you know, like recipes and craft ideas and things like that, you definitely would need to plan ahead for those a little bit. And I would just suggest maybe making some kind of a list of, you know, like lesson 1, and these are the supplies we need, and then you can kind of pick and choose. But that part would require a little bit of prep on your part. Alright guys, so that is my review for the Story of the World History Unit. Again, this is Volume 1, Ancient Times. There are actually 4 volumes currently in this series. So Volume 1 is Ancient Times, Volume 2 is Middle Ages, 3 is the early modern period, and then 4 is the modern age. And then as far as I can tell online, it looks like they're recommended for grades or ages 6 and up. And so they're really good for doing if you have a variety of ages and you want to do something, you know, with all of your kids together, as opposed to have them do individual history units. For us, this program is actually working really well. Again, the activity booklet is pretty easy for my kids. I've got a 3rd, a 6th, and then an 8th grader doing it. Definitely too easy for my 6th and 8th grader, but I think the context of the reading book is actually really good. They're really enjoying all of the stories. They don't mind listening to it. It seems like they're remembering it quite well, and mainly because of how it's told, as opposed to being kind of a more dry history textbook. This is more told in the context of stories, and it's interesting, and they've got a lot of, you know, just kind of different story sections in here, and so it's a lot more interesting to read for me. It's a lot more interesting for them to listen to as well. So as far as using it for ages 6 and up, that can be like quite a variety in age range. They do suggest it appropriate for those lower grades, but they also say that you could use this for 5th to 8th graders as an independent study, so they could do the reading on their own. So far, from what I can tell, the material is totally appropriate. We're really enjoying it, and so definitely give this one a thumbs up. I do plan to go to the next level, year 2 or whatever of this next year, and I'll probably probably want to take a look at the activity pages because I may not waste my money on buying those this year. I feel like they're even a little easy for my third grader. She's really like, I don't feel like coloring a page. So that's just for us though. If you have younger kids, they might really be into that. Definitely the activities in the activity book, like the hands-on craft projects and things like that are a lot of fun. And that kind of definitely brings things more hands-on and more engaging and definitely more interesting. So that part of it's really fun. You just have to plan ahead like I mentioned. So overall, we give this curriculum a thumbs up. If you have any questions on it that I didn't answer in this video, make sure to leave a comment below, or you can email me. I'll put all of my information in the description box below. Just click the little show more button down there. Thank you so much for watching me today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.